All right, so this is going to be my weekly watch list for this week. So now this week's going to be a short week, only 4 trading days. So we're going to get straight into it and review what I'm watching for the week. Now, so the first stock on this list is going to be ARM. So what we see here is we saw the big move up on earnings after the good earnings. We saw the big move up, and now it's just been going sideways for about a month and a half. And now what I like to see here is volumes completely died out. And on the last 2 days, we saw an inside day on Friday, and we saw just 2 thin candles the last 2 days. So this usually happens before we see a breakout. And I like how we reclaimed the 20-day moving average. It's something I really like to see. And if we're able to get above about 137, so about Thursday's high, we can see a big push up into 147 in my opinion. Then above 147 we can see up to 150, and then obviously the highs at around 165 right after. So the key on ARM is going to be if this can break out, we can see a big move up. Now the second one I'm going to be watching is MARL. So MARL here on the hourly time frame, we have this inverse head and shoulders here. So basically, I'm watching for longs off of this inverse head and shoulders, with my risk being below 60, a candle close below 65, and I'm looking for a move up all the way up into the 70s. So yeah, very simple. Inverse head and shoulders, risk below 65, looking for a big move up after that. Now the next one I'm looking at is IBM. So on IBM here, I see on the daily time frame, I see this cup and handle. So looking at this, we see the earnings move up. Then we go the cup being formed right here. We go up, and this is the handle. Handle back into this demand, this supply, previous supply that's now demand. And basically, I'm just looking for this to move up, back up into 200 if this can break out of this handle here. And my risk here would be below this demand zone. So we're risking this demand for a move up into 198, then 202 above that. But another simple play. Obviously, volume patterns look nice as well on this. Now, the next one is going to be NTNX. So on NTNX here, we had this another one with the earnings gap, earnings move up, and then now basically moving into a bull flag. And we are above the 10 and the 20-day moving averages here. So if I see this clear $65 a share, I think this can see a good move up all the way up into new all-time highs. So it's very simple here. A breakout of this bull flag, and we should see a big move up. And obviously the volume patterns look very nice as well, and we're above all of the key moving averages. Now the next one is Tilray. So last week, cannabis stocks had a pretty good run with a pretty big move up in a lot of them. So we also broke out of this downtrend going back to the end of 2022. So now my key here is volume looks very good as well. The key here, what I want to see is if we can clear this supply from around 230 to 250, we could see a move up into basically $3 a share. So if this can clear 250, I'd look for a move up into $3 to $3.25. So very simple on Tilray. Break of the supply, they're looking for a move up in the next supply around here. And calls are very cheap here, so we can see a big move possibly if it can break that supply. Now, the next thing on my watch list is Google. So we have this little downward trend line going back to the end of January. And with a couple touches here, we got a rejection, rejection, rejection. Now we're testing it again. So if this can clear the trend line, obviously I'd look for calls. And if this can reject the trend line again, we'd look for puts down to this gap fill. But yeah, one thing I do like, we see some high selling volume here after the gap up. This thing at least pushed up, and then sellers came and pulled it down. The next day too, we had some decent selling volume. So we'll see how this reacts to this trend line. Now the next one is Amazon. Amazon is stuck in this little range. It's still above the 10 to 20-day moving averages, so I like that. But I wouldn't take this unless it breaks the range. So above 180, I would go long for a move up into 188. And then new all-time highs above that. But we have to clear 180 first, and it has not done that yet. Very simple again. Next play is a short play. So it's on ticker McDonald's, ticker MCD. We have this distribution over here at the highs, and then basically a double top. So distribution and double top. Then we break down from the supply. We break through the supply, and now we're coming back up into a bear flag and retesting the supply and retesting the 200-day moving average. So I'm looking for a breakdown out of this bear flag. I like it because high selling volume, lower volume move up, retest to the supply, and then retest the 200-day moving average. And I think this can sell back down to a 274, and then below that 270. But yeah, if this breaks the bear flag, I'm looking for a move down into 270 is my final target below. So then the next one is Zoom Info, ticker symbol ZI. So what we have here is it's earnings gap, and then basically just low volume movement all the way back down into this, close to this demand zone around 15. And volume patterns look very good right now as well. We saw this high volume day right here, and buyers look to be a little stronger down here, with sellers being a little weaker. But yeah, if we clear this trend line and get above some of these MAs, I think we should see a move back up into 17 to 18 possibly, and maybe a 200-day MA test. But thing I like to see here, I lost the volume dropping on this entire pullback. But another thing was there's a lot of call flow I've been seeing lately on this stock. We saw, especially into the 17.5 strike for May and the 16 strike for June, a lot of calls coming in. And also we saw some put writing too. So I'm probably going to look to get into this week based off of that. Now the next one is going to be MRNA, Moderna. So previous time we caught a trade here, this little break out of this flag up, we caught that. And now basically the move happened, high volume move up, and now just pulled back into another flag on lower volume. So if this can get above 106, I think this has room up to 115 again. Now it is above the MAs, so if this can get above the 10-day, basically I'd look to go long. It's still above the 200, above the 20, and above the 50. So a very good looking setup here. Above 106, looking for 115. Now the last one I have on here is PSTG, Pure Storage. So on this one right here, what I am seeing is we have the earnings move up, now a low volume pullback, and basically if it can clear this trend line, still holding the moving averages. If it can clear this trend line, we could see it move up back into the recent highs around 57, 58. And that is also an all-time high. So if it can clear that, we could see it move up into this all-time high and then new all-time highs above that. But yeah, the volume, I like the volume, and this trend line is key. But yeah, that pretty much caps it all for my whole watch list. If you guys are not in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord. Also, make sure to follow Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube, obviously. Check out my TikTok, and obviously join the Discord if you guys want more. If you want alerts and if you want other information. But that's going to cap it off. I'll see you guys in the next one.